skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews to sports coverage to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews to sports coverage to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews to sports coverage to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Interested in bringing your ideas to life? Here at Milford TV, we give you the opportunity and resources you need to turn your content into reality. We offer memberships with access to equipment and use of our in-studio setup to allow you to get your message across in a professional manner. Or if you simply have the desire to gain hands-on experience in the field of digital media, you can become a volunteer at Milford TV, where we teach essential skills and tools that allow our members to create and tell their stories. From studio interviews, to sports coverage, to field shows, we provide the community the chance to stay informed and get involved. If you're a local company looking for an opportunity to promote your business, consider becoming a sponsor of Milford TV. We offer several sponsorship options for local business visibility during our sports broadcast as well as other areas. Whether you hope to inspire others, highlight issues you're passionate about, or would like to learn more and participate in the production process, Milford TV is the perfect place to start. Call or visit us at milfordtv.net for information on how to become a member or volunteer, and see why now is the time to join the Milford TV family. Come on over so you can be part of the action. Coverage of our Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV is brought to you by the following sponsors. Our presenting sponsor, the Rail Trail Flatbread Company, a casual American dining experience with locations in Hudson and on Main Street here in Milford. Rentschler Biopharma, sponsor of our broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma transforms innovative ideas into life-saving biopharmaceuticals. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. And Unibank, big bank know-how, community bank attitude. Serving the Milford community at their local branch on Prospect Street inside the Shaw's Plaza.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside Pheno Field here in Milford, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Milford Legion Baseball presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Rail Trail Flatbread Company is a casual American dining experience. They specialize in an all-scratch-made kitchen featuring wood-fired flatbreads. It's an inviting atmosphere for the whole family to enjoy. You can check them out right here on Main Street in Milford. Milford TV Executive Director Tim Coet here, back with you outside at Pheno. A hot, steamy summer night, and ready for more Legion baseball action for you. We bring it to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma is a global contract development and manufacturing organization specializing in biopharmaceuticals and advanced therapies. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. So tonight, Milford Post 59 welcomes in one of their District 4 rivals in Cherry Valley Post 443. Milford has been steamrolling through the early days of this Zone 4 Legion baseball season. They come into play tonight in District 4 play, a perfect 8-0. They are 10-1 overall on the season. That includes some invitational tournament games that Milford played over the weekend. Overall, a very successful run through that tournament for Post 59. But they're back in Zone 4 action here tonight, taking on Cherry Valley. And before we get this game started, let's bring you the starting lineups. We will begin with the visitors, Post 443. Leading it off is the second baseman, Lucas McNevin. The left fielder, Braden Biendo, bats second. Shortstop Jacob Del Valle bats third, with the catcher Andrew Cloutier in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth and playing first base is Cam Rivendiera, with Liam Doyle, the center fielder, batting sixth. Aiden Cook bats seventh and plays third base, with tonight's starting pitcher Nolan Libby batting eighth. And in the ninth spot is the right fielder Joe Castigian. And Cherry Valley will be taking their swings against the Milford starter and Scarlet Hawks alumni Anthony LaPierre. Tall right-hander, just about ready to get this game started. As McNevin steps into the right side of the batter's box, and a fastball over the plate gets us started here tonight. LaPierre making his third appearance on the pitcher's mound this season. Brings a 1.17 ERA to the table here tonight. He has been very good to start the year. Jumps ahead of McNevin quickly, 0-2. And now a soft ground ball that LaPierre will field just to the right of the pitcher's mound, tosses over to first base, and the first out is recorded. Defensively for Post 59, it is Keith Lee behind the plate, Sean McGee at third, Sam Schoenberg at short, Dylan Ruff at second, and Nick Govea at first. Left to right in the outfield, Braden Lewis, Nick Koch, and Nick Pedroli. One out and the base is empty now for Braden Biendo. Another right-handed bat, and a grounder foul that bounces behind home plate. So altogether, 6 innings pitched so far on the season for LaPierre. Comes in with a 2-0 record. He's allowed just 5 hits, 4 runs, just one of them earned in those 6 innings pitched. He's walked 4 and struck out 4. Opposing batters hitting 200 so far on the season against Anthony LaPierre. Of course, Anthony, part of the Milford High School class of 2024. He is back for one final year here in the Legion uniform after spending his freshman year of college at Babson. Fans still making their way inside Pheno Field as this game gets underway. First pitch to miss the zone in this inning for LaPierre brings the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Biendo at the plate, Jacob Del Valle waiting on deck. And the 1-2 pitch is too far outside, gets past Keith Lee's reach. A heat wave here in the Northeast to start this week. As As the 2-2 pitch comes in, that is on the outside corner for strike 3. Biendo goes down looking. And there are 2 outs now in the inning. Currently here at Fino Field, it is 89 degrees. It is a feels-like temperature of 99. That feels-like temperature crept well into the hundreds in the peak sun earlier this afternoon, and it is expected to be even hotter tomorrow. But a little bit of a breeze here at field level, making it a little bit more comfortable for these fans who have made their way out here to Fino Field. Meanwhile, with 2 outs and the bases empty, it is Del Valle at the plate, who has to duck out of the way of that pitch that came too high and tight. But of course, if you opted to stay at home, stay in the air conditioning to check out this coverage live on Milford TV, we're live once again here tonight across our platforms, locally here in Milford on our educational channel, our Verizon High Definition channel, and of course you can stream us anywhere on our YouTube channel. So if you're joining us on the live coverage tonight, we're so happy to have you with us. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Del Valle. The pitch from LaPierre is fouled to the backstop. Milford had a lot of the youth baseball kids out shagging fly balls during batting practice earlier here this evening. Some future post-59 players out roaming the outfield with the current team. Here comes a 2-2 pitch, and it's chopped foul off towards the Cherry Valley on-deck area. And it stays a 2-ball, 2-strike count. 13 pitches in the inning so far for Anthony LaPierre. Milford once again in their retro-style navy uniform tops with those new gold hats with the navy brim. Pitch from LaPierre misses high, so the count will run full here to Del Valle. Should he reach, Andrew Cloutier would have a chance to bat in the inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The base is empty in the top of the first. The payoff pitch from LaPierre is hit hard down the left field line. That is a fair ball. It's going to roll all the way to the corner, and it's going to be extra bases for Del Valle. He will cruise into second base with a 2-out double. Tucked that ball inside the left field line, and it rolled all the way down to that new 330-foot marker.
Coming to the plate, number 15, the catcher, Andrew Cloutier.
And so it spoils the 1-2-3 inning bid for LaPierre, and so instead he will indeed face Andrew Cloutier, the Cherry Valley catcher. These two teams at the opposite ends of the District 4 standings. Milford comes in first place. They're a perfect 8-0 in District 4 competition. Cherry Valley, meanwhile, is currently in 11th place out of the 11 teams in the standings. They have started out the season 1-4. First pitch strike pumped in to Cloutier. LaPierre looked down to second base, now deals the 0-1. That's carved foul. Ticketed off towards the concession stand area. As always, a very popular spot to take in the game, especially early on, with all the delicious foods being prepared down there at the concession stand. Meanwhile, an 0-2 count on Cloutier, who fights off another pitch foul. This one will travel over the first base bleachers and will touch down out in the parking lot. Still a no-ball, 2-strike count. His last 2 batters have made LaPierre work in the inning. He's up to 18 pitches. Here comes the 0-2, and this is a line drive sinking quickly out into right field, and it will hold up just long enough for Pedroli to range in to make the catch. Home plate umpire momentarily obscuring our view of the Milford right fielder, but Pedroli was there to make the play, and so Cherry Valley will strand a runner in scoring position. No runs allowed in the top of the first inning. Post 59 will take their first swings of the game when we come back next as we bring you this coverage live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. And coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics here on Milford TV is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company.
Celebrate Milford, Central Mass Ball Club, Homefield Credit Union, and Rail Trail Flatbread. Also its platinum partners, Imperial Cars, Pepperoncinis, Shooting Star Photography, Wiley and Julian Oil Services, and the Milford Lions Club. Our diamond partners are Italian American Vets, Hoboken Citizen Club, Milford TV, MyFM 101.3, Milford Parks Department, Murphy Insurance Agency, the Red Sox Foundation, Sergeant John W. Powers Post 59, Science Plus, Sons of Italy Dramatic Sportsman Club, and the Unibank. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball. Season tickets are available for $45, including both regular and postseason games. Gate price will be $5 otherwise, with the exception of our veterans, who will be our guests for all games. Parents, make sure that you sign up in the concession stand. We ask that you work at least one game during the summer. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball.
Getting set for the bottom of the first inning here at Fino Field. Scoreless game. And as Milford comes to the plate for the first time, let's bring you their starting lineup. Leading it off is the right fielder, Nick Pedroli. Braden Lewis bats second and plays left field, with Sam Schoenberg, the shortstop, batting third. In the cleanup spot tonight is the catcher, Keith Lee, with Sean McGee, the third baseman, batting fifth. Nick Koch bats sixth and plays center field, with the designated hitter, Gavin Metcalf, batting seventh. Nick Govea plays first base and bats eighth, and in the ninth spot is the second baseman, Dylan Ruff. And on the mound for Cherry Valley is number 22, Nolan Libby. Right-hander finishing up his warm-up tosses right now. Cherry Valley in their customary black uniform tops with the light gold accents. That black probably feeling just a little hotter than usual in these very steamy conditions. Our hottest games of the season so far. Milford with a lot of games at home this week. We'll take a look through the schedule. We're hopeful that we'll have the chance to be back with coverage for Thursday night's game against Northborough, but the weather gets decidedly unsettled later on in the week with a lot of rain in the forecast, so we'll see if the weather allows for us to be back out on Thursday. But for right now, we'll enjoy bringing you coverage of this game. Milford taking on Cherry Valley, and the leadoff batter in the post 59 order, Nick Pedroli, steps in on the left side. And the first pitch from Libby is high for ball one. This Milford team has been hitting incredibly well through the early days of the season. They're 8 games deep into their District 4 schedule. 11 games have been played overall by this team. As a team, they are batting .379. Nick Pedroli, meanwhile, comes in with a batting average of .448, already 13 hits on the season and 29 at-bats. That includes 2 doubles, a triple, a home run, and 8 runs batted in. He has been the tone setter in this leadoff spot in the lineup right now, up there with a count of 2 balls and 1 strike. 16 runs scored. He's walked 7 times, has not yet struck out on this season. Sends a little chopper. It's going to be a tricky play on the left side with Pedroli's speed, and the throw is not going to be in time at first base. Just too slow developing over there on the left side. The third baseman and shortstop converged, but the throw to first base was late, and Pedroli is aboard with a leadoff infield single. So a runner aboard now for Braden Lewis. This top of the Milford lineup has been so potent through this first portion of the season. Braden Lewis with the top batting average on the team coming into today's action at .581, 18 hits through his first 31 at-bats. As they check on Pedroli over at first base. Pedroli has 4 stolen bases on the season, so wise to keep an eye on him over there. He takes off. Pitch to Lewis is high. Throw down to second base. Tails. It'll drift out onto the outfield grass. Pedroli gets back to his feet, hustles onto third, and he will get there. And a nice backhanded play up the line at third base for Aiden Cook to keep that ball from rolling off towards the dugout and allowing Pedroli to come all the way around to score. So that will go as a stolen base for Pedroli, and then an E2 that allows the runner to move on to third. So the first error of the night on Cherry Valley, and so the first potential run of the game for post 59 now standing at third base, and it's a 2-ball no strike count on Lewis. Takes that pitch well high. And so just to dig deeper into Lewis's numbers on the season, of those 18 hits, 7 of them have been doubles. He has hit 3 home runs, has driven in a team high 17 runs batted in, 14 runs scored. And he will walk here on 4 pitches, so Cherry Valley pitching very carefully, but this lineup does not get any easier the further along you go. Milford will now have runners at the corners with nobody out, and Sam Schoenberg at the plate. Schoenberg hitting an even .400 through his first 11 games played. 16 hits in 40 at-bats. 3 doubles, 3 triples, and 15 runs batted in. Meanwhile, a quick advance for Lewis as he moves down to second base. No throw as Cherry Valley guards against that runner at third. So another stolen base leads to 2 in scoring position now for Milford. Poised to get on the scoreboard early, something they have been doing all season long. Libby, a little stumble off the mound as he released that pitch to Schoenberg. It's a 2-ball no strike count, now 6 straight out of the zone from Libby. Second and third, as now this pitch gets away from the catcher, and this will allow Pedroli to cross the plate with the first run of the game. Libby really struggling with his command right now, and it leads to a run. Milford takes a 1-0 lead. So Pedroli scores on the wild pitch. Lewis now the lone base runner at third, and it's a 3-ball no strike count on Schoenberg. And that pitch not close. Back-to-back walks on 8 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone. And once again, it's runners at the corners, and the head coach for Cherry Valley, Jim Stevens, will come out of the dugout, makes a slow stroll to the pitcher's mound to try to calm down Libby, who has pitched himself into a jam here in this inning. About to battle the Milford catcher, Keith Lee. Lee was a little quiet with the bat by his standards in the first couple of games of the season, but he has really started to put it together now, up to 7 hits on the season. He's gotten the batting average up to .241, and he has 4 home runs to his credit. Milford as a team has hit 14 home runs, and that can sometimes be in a variety of ways, inside the park, outside the park. It depends on the stadiums here around District 4. We have not had a chance to cover every home game here at Pheno Field since the new fence went in, but we're of course anxious to see our first home run go over this brand new fence. As we mentioned in our last broadcast back on June 12th, it's now 330 feet down the right and left field lines, 400 feet to straightaway center field.
Now batting number 20, the catcher, Kiko.
So as the mound visit breaks up, Lee digs in on the right side. And Schoenberg immediately takes off for second base, and absolutely no attempt from the catcher to send a throw down. And so immediately again, Milford has 2 runners in scoring position. The defensive alignment for Cherry Valley, it is Andrew Cloutier behind the plate, Aiden Cook at third, Jacob Del Valle at short, Lucas McNevin at second, and Cam Rivendiera at first. Left to right in the outfield, Braden Biendo, Liam Doyle, and Joe Castigian. Finally a strike from Libby to bring the count to 1-1. Now 2 balls into strike. Still sunshine splashing across Fino Field here, as we're in the longest days of the year here, just into the summer. Lee lets that pitch go off the outside edge, and it's now a 3-ball, 1-strike count. And right now, Milford not letting Libby off the hook here with the command problems. Next pitch, that is outside for ball 4 and a 3rd consecutive walk. So Milford has not had the ball leave the infield yet in this inning, but they've had their first 4 reach on a combination of an infield single, a trio of walks. They've plated a run on a wild pitch, and they now have them loaded up for Milford High School alumni Sean McGee. And the first pitch is lined to shortstop. The throw to second base, and it is out of the glove, but now Milford is caught in a rundown between first and second base. Here comes the throw over to third, and a little bit of a scramble there for post 59, and in the end, it looks like they will say that Cherry Valley did get the tag on Schoenberg there. It was first Keith Lee that was caught in between first and second base, and then as Lee was caught in a rundown, Schoenberg got back to his feet, tried to advance to third, and he is ultimately tagged out. So as the dust settles here, we try to take stock. Milford does get a run in the exchange, as Braden Lewis was able to come in from third during all that was going on the bases. So in the end, the umpires ruled that Del Valle trapped that ball on a bounce. So that resulted in everyone getting caught in no man's land on the bases. So they were able to get Schoenberg at third. It wouldn't have been a tag play. It would have been a force play, given the fact that that ball was not caught. So it ends up going in the books as a fielder's choice for Sean McGee, who will now trot down to second base on that wild pitch from Libby. A lot of moving parts on that play. So McGee reaches on the fielder's choice, now advances to second base on what may go in the books as a pass ball. Lee is now your lead runner at third base. Schoenberg was out on the force play previously, and Braden Lewis had come in to score. So it is 2-0 in favor of post 59. Now a walk issued.
Now batting number 60, designated hitter Gavin.
And that will reload the bases, as we finally get our scorecard up to date. That was a hit by pitch to Nick Koch, not a walk. So we reset with the bases loaded. It is Lee at third, McGee at second, Koch at first, and Gavin Metcalf is the runner at the plate, who takes a look at ball 1 as that one trickles briefly away from Cloutier. This has been a rough inning for Nolan Libby, who has now thrown 20 pitches, and the majority of those have been outside of the strike zone. Pitch up and in. Two 2-0 on Metcalf. Next one from Libby. That is down in the dirt, smothered by Cloutier, who's been doing everything he can in this inning to try to keep the balls in front of him. Gavin Metcalf, meanwhile, appearing in his 10th game. He's batting .471. Has 9 runs batted in on the season, and you can make it 10 as he will walk here, forcing in a run. It's the 4th walk now in the inning. Keith Lee crosses the plate on that bases loaded free pass. Everyone moves up a station. McGee now at 3rd, Koch at 2nd, Metcalf at 1st. And Coach Stevens back out of the dugout, and Nolan Libby is not going to make it more than an out deep into this outing. Right now, Coach Stevens has the baseball in his hand. It's the 2nd mound visit, so this should be it for Libby. And so we'll start to see the pitching change take place here. Just a rough outing for Nolan Libby. This is a patient lineup for post 59. As a team, Milford has walked 67 times in 395 plate appearances. Meanwhile, Libby very upset as he is lifted from this game, and so we'll get a pitching change here. Looks to be Aiden Cook who will take over on the mound. He starts his warm-up tosses. Cook had been at 3rd base, so some corresponding defensive changes here in progress. Looks like Cam Rivendiera will move from 1st base to 3rd. And just trying to spy a uniform number over at 1st base. That looks to be Jamison Wood in off the bench. So those appear to be all of the changes, and Nolan Libby, no longer at any position on the field as he leaves after just a 1/3 of an inning. So far has allowed 3 runs on 1 hit and 4 walks. Also a hit by pitch, lasting just a 1/3 of an inning. And he is still responsible for all 3 runners that are on base.
Number 2, Aiden Cook. And at 1st base is number 12, Jamison Wood.
And so Cook finishing up his warm-up tosses. It will be Nick Govea, the 1st baseman, who will come to the plate with another Milford bases loaded opportunity. And so again, as we start to take a look through how the season has started to take shape for Milford so far, they have scored double-digit runs in all of their zone games with the exception of an 8-2 win against Shrewsbury, which was a week ago today in Shrewsbury, technically at Fitton Field on the Holy Cross campus. Every other game so far, Milford has scored 10 or more runs, including a 20-0 romp over Maine South that we covered back on June the 12th. So this offense has been high flying. Govea here swings at the first pitch, lifts it deep out to center field, but Liam Doyle is there to make the catch. Everyone will tag up, and Milford will push a 4th run across the plate as Sean McGee scores. It will be a sacrifice fly for Govea. That run,
That brings up number 11, second
the responsibility of the starting pitcher. There are 2 outs now in the inning. Koch was able to tag up and advance to 3rd base, so it's runners at the corners now, with Koch at 3rd, Metcalf at 1st, and The number 9 man, Dylan Ruff, will take a first pitch strike. As meanwhile, all Aiden Cook can do is try to minimize the damage in this inning. He's able to get ahead of Ruff here. No balls and 2 strikes. Dylan has been very productive out of the number 9 spot, batting .435, 10 hits on the season, 5 runs batted in, 6 runs scored. He's also walked 5 times. Down in the count here, 0-2. And sends this pitch deep out into center field. But on the move, Doyle is able to make a basket catch for the out that ends the inning. So Milford will leave 2 runners stranded on base, but they send all 9 batters to the plate. They score 4 times. And so after 1 inning of play, it is Milford 4 and Cherry Valley nothing here on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on Milford TV, presented by Rail Trail. Back inside our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth, top of the 2nd inning. And Anthony LaPierre deals in a called strike 1 to the number 5 hitter in the Cherry Valley lineup, Cam Rivendiera. He'll be followed by Liam Doyle and Aiden Cook. A little cue shot off the end of the bat, foul to the backstop. Brings the count to 0-2. LaPierre pitching with a lead, something these Milford starters have been able to do throughout this season. We'll have to go back and look through the game logs, but Milford has scored in the first inning virtually every single night. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count now on Rivendiera. Milford scoring 4 times in the bottom half of the first inning on the benefit of just 1 hit. And now a foul tip into Keith Lee's mitt, and Rivendiera is a strikeout victim to open up this 2nd inning. 2 Ks now in the game for LaPierre. Was able to pitch his way around a 2-out double in the first inning. Now retires the first batter here in the 2nd. And Liam Doyle stands in at home plate, and he'll take a look at strike 1. Cherry Valley has played a lot fewer games on the season compared to Milford, just 5. Milford, all totaled with District 4 games and tournament games, have played 11 games. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's a little bit low. Cherry Valley opened the season at home with a 10-0 loss against Maine South. They followed that up with a tough 14-2 loss on the road against Northborough. As this pitch is swung on and missed, and LaPierre has struck out the first 2 batters here in the 2nd inning. Their win came in their 3rd game of the season back on June 13th. That was a win at home against Grafton. And since then, it's been a 7-2 loss at home against Leominster, and most recently a close game against Cherry Valley. I beg your pardon, a close game for Cherry Valley against Shrewsbury on the road, that Shrewsbury was able to hang on for a 5-4 win. That was on Thursday of last week. And meanwhile, Aiden Cook at the plate, already down 0-2. Here is the pitch, and that is in for a called strike 3, and a powerful shutdown inning for Anthony LaPierre as he strikes out the side in order, and a lightning quick top of the second inning is complete. 4-0 is the lead for Milford on top of Cherry Valley. As we bring you this live coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV, it's presented by Rail Trail.
Milford Legion Baseball would like to thank its gold partners: Blooming Hearts Roastery Cafe, Hoosier Energy Systems, Butters House, Clark, Consigli Imbricato PC, Milford Federal Bank, Milford Permanent Firefighters, R.H. Lawn Cadillac, Stulac Marketing, and The Gym. Also our diamond partners: Italian American Vets, Hoboken Citizens Club, Milford TV, My FM 101.3, Milford Parks Department, Murphy Insurance Agency, the Red Sox Foundation, Sergeant Powell's Post 59, Science Plus, Substantively Dramatic Sports, and Unibank. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball.
Coverage of Scarlet Hawk, coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on Milford TV is brought to you in part by Rentschler Biopharma. They are our broadcast booth sponsor. With a state-of-the-art facility and a commitment to excellence, Rentschler Biopharma is poised to tackle the most complex challenges in biopharmaceutical development and manufacturing. Tim Coed here with you on the call, an outstanding Milford TV crew bringing you the live coverage here on this hot and humid Monday night here at Fino Field. And a fast start for Post 59 once again as they are up 4-0. Now back at the plate in the bottom half of the second inning. And they'll go second time through the lineup. Sent the full complement to the plate in the first inning. They chased the starter Nolan Libby after just a third of an inning. It is now Aiden Cook out for his first full inning of relief. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Nick Pedroli, who had the only hit that Milford collected in that first inning. It was a leadoff infield single. Was able to beat a throw from the third baseman. And now jumps ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Got much more of a sample size of this District 4 season compared to when we covered our first game back on the 12th, so we'll start to give you a look at the standings as things continue to develop. This ball sky high right at the edge of the infield dirt. Shortstop Del Valle able to make the catch, and Pedroli is retired.
Number 7, the left fielder, Braden Lewis.
So base is empty now with 1 down for Braden Lewis. And that one slipping out of Cook's hand. Lewis, one of the 4 walks in the first inning. He has not yet seen a strike. He walked on 4 pitches in his first at bat. Now ahead in the count, 2-0. Takes a hack at this pitch, sends it down the third base line. That's a fair ball, skips just inside the third base bag. Lewis digging for second base, and he'll get there standing with a double.
Now batting number 17, the shortstop.
So another hit for Lewis, his 19th hit of the season, his 8th double, and he is in scoring position with one out for Schoenberg. He also walked in his first plate appearance. Swings at the first pitch, lines it hard to the backstop. Lewis a lead away from second base as the pitch is Schoenberg jackknifing out of the way. 1 ball and 1 strike. And now this ball skips in the dirt, gets away from Cloutier, and Lewis wanders over to third base, takes a turn there, but will hold. So another wild pitch advances a Milford runner. And a 2-ball, 1 strike count on the Milford shortstop. Next pitch from Cook. Just misses off the outside part of the plate, and it's 3-1. And now up over Schoenberg's head for ball 4, so Cook, who had shown much better control than the starter Nolan Libby to eventually shut down that first inning with only 1 more run, an inherited runner scoring, but here he allows the double, a wild pitch, and now a walk to place runners at the corners. Immediately Schoenberg takes off as Keith Lee swings at the first pitch and pops it up very high out into center field. Doyle makes the catch. Lewis tags at third base. The throw into home plate is out in front of the dish, and Lewis scores to make it a 5-0 Milford lead. An RBI for Keith Lee on the sac fly. So 2 outs in the inning. Schoenberg now is the lone runner on base. He has to dive back in on the pickoff attempt as Sean McGee stands in. Runner takes off, pitch goes through the wickets of the catcher, and so Schoenberg with an uncontested trip down to second base. Milford has just been a nightmare on the bases for teams this season. Coming into the game today, Milford as a team had 28 stolen bases by my count. They've tacked at least 3 more onto that through the first 2 innings, with this bottom of the second not quite complete. Schoenberg now in scoring position. It's a 2-ball, no strike count on Sean McGee. And Sean sends a drive out to left field deep. This is back towards the fence. It will stay in the yard, and Biendo is able to make the catch for the out that ends the inning. A little bit more, and we might have seen that one go over the fence, but not this time. And Milford ends up stranding a runner. They're able to put 1 more on the board, and so it's a 5-0 lead now for Post 59 as we move on to the 3rd inning. When we return next here on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV, it's presented by Rail Trail. Start of the third inning. Anthony LaPierre now with a 5-run cushion, and he has been a strike-throwing machine here through these first couple innings. He deals strike one into the number 8 hitter in the Cherry Valley lineup. That was slated to be the starting pitcher, Nolan Libby, but after he was lifted in the first inning, Jamison Wood entered into the fold defensively and now slots in to this number 8 spot. And a very off-balance swing and a miss to bring the count to 1-2. And that pitch a little bit high. Wood now the first baseman in the Cherry Valley lineup after some defensive substitutions, and here he will take strike 3. That is the 4th consecutive strikeout for LaPierre. He's got 5 in all now. Pitching free and easy with a lead. And now facing the number 9 man, Joe Castigian. Fastball high. LaPierre pitched in a lot of big games here on this field in the Milford Scarlet Hawks colors, including being part of that team to make it all the way to the Final Four in the 2024 season. Part of that dynamic starting rotation with Damian Carter, Ian Carter. And contact here as this ball is hit hard through the left side of the infield for a base hit. So there is the second hit of the game for Cherry Valley.
Number 11, second baseman, Lucas McNevin.
And we'll turn the lineup over as well. Lucas McNevin now will step in for the second time. He grounded out to the pitcher his first time up. 1 out and a runner at first base. And this ball is hit hard. That's going to be over the second baseman's head and into the right center gap. Runner touches second base, moves on to third. And now coming around to the plate as the throw comes in slowly behind the second base bag. So Castigian comes all the way around from first base to score. As Cherry Valley puts together back-to-back hits on consecutive pitches, McNevin drives in the run with an RBI double. And so that will make it 5-1. So a little bit of change of tactics there after the leadoff man was retired in the inning. Both Castigian and McNevin swinging early in the counts. And now this ball hit down the first base line. That is foul off the bat of Braden Biendo. So 3 hits now for Cherry Valley. They're actually out hitting Milford now 3-2. But Milford leading in the game now 5-1. As this pitch misses off the outside edge. Next pitch from LaPierre. This is hit on the ground to second base. Rough, sure-handed. Gets the out over at first base. The ball hit to the right side does move the runner along as McNevin is able to advance to third, but there are now 2 outs in the inning. And so now the number 3 hitter, Jacob Del Valle, reached base with a 2-out double in the first inning. One of Cherry Valley's 3 hits. He'll take the first pitch high for ball 1. Short lead off of third base. As this ball is hit in the air, out to right center field. Koch yields to Pedroli, who ends up making the catch for the out that retires the side. So Cherry Valley scores a run. They strand a runner at third base. And after 2.5 innings here at Pheno Field, it is now Milford 5 and Cherry Valley 1 on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV, presented by Rail Trail.
Milford Legion Baseball would like to thank its Blue Partners, Bright Agency, Jensen Sheehan Insurance, Easy Way Car Wash, Garriott and Howland, Massachusetts Real Estate Group, Middlesex Savings Bank, Oliva's Market, Photo Fabrication Engineering, Pins, West Street Auto Body, Whitensville Monument Works, and BEK Hauling and Cleanup. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball.
I was here. You weren't even here yet. You could have waited. I have to send it a Lenny. There we go. Get it, get the pie. Get it both. Yeah. All day coming out.
With Milford leading by a score of 5-1 in the bottom of the third inning, leading off number 6, center fielder Nick Koch.
Coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV is brought to you in part by Unibank. Big bank know-how, community bank attitude, serving the Milford community over on Prospect Street inside the Shaw's Plaza. Very grateful for Unibank for their support of our Scarlet Hawks Athletics coverage. Tim Coet here with you as we begin the bottom half of the third inning. Milford leading 5-1. Nick Koch, the first Milford batter here in the inning, facing Aiden Cook. He's allowed a run on one hit with a walk and an inning and 2/3 of relief. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count on Nick. Batting out of the number 6 spot in the Milford lineup as he watches that pitch drop low in the dirt. He'll be followed by Gavin Metcalf and Nick Gouveia. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and it's off the end of the bat, rolled over towards the second baseman, had to go far to his left, but he's able to make the play and get the throw to first base in time to retire Koch.
That brings up number 16, the designated hitter, Gavin Metcalf.
That brings up Gavin Metcalf. He walked in his first plate appearance. Right-hander Cook with the pitch. That drops over into the left side batter's box for ball 1. Milford took a little breather from Zone 4 competition over the weekend to take part in the Gubby Underwood tournament up in Keene, New Hampshire. Over the course of the weekend, they ended up playing in 4 games. One of those days ended up playing a doubleheader as Metcalf grounds one over towards the third baseman. Rivendiera over there now. He's able to make the play. And the first 2 are retired in the inning.
Now batting number 8, first baseman Nick
So they opened the tournament with a matchup against a Legion team from Montreal. They were able to win that game 10-7. And on Saturday, in doubleheader action, they defeated their Zone 4 rival Leominster 11-3. They defeated the host team Keene, New Hampshire 12-0 to set up a game for the championship of the tournament against a Legion program from South Kingstown, Rhode Island. Unfortunately, Milford came up on the losing end of that game. It's the only loss they've suffered on the season. Won't count against their zone record, as Nick Govea sends a fly ball out to left center field. Doyle ends up making the catch, and it is a quick and quiet 1-2-3 inning for Milford that wraps up the third inning. It is still 5-1 in favor of Post 59 on the coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on Milford TV with our presenting sponsor, the Rail Trail Flatbread Company.
14 for 7, 8 to left, Burchard at first.
Moving on to the top of the fourth inning. Anthony LaPierre, the starting pitcher, still on the mound. Some defensive changes for Post 59 as we enter into this inning. Braden Lewis has come out of the game. And right now, it is Nick Govea who has moved from first base to take over in left field. Sean Burchard has entered the game. He is now at first. The rest of the defensive alignment remains the same, so not quite sure what necessitated that change, if Coach DeVito was just cycling in some personnel or if there was an injury issue there to Lewis. As meanwhile, the first batter here in the top half of the fourth sends one to the opposite field, out to right field, down for a base hit. So Andrew Cloutier aboard with a leadoff single. So a little more contact against LaPierre with these last few hitters. Braden Lewis had been on base both times he had come to the plate. A walk, a stolen base, and a run scored in the first, a double and a run scored in the second. He did not come to the plate in that third inning. So again, you just hope that there's no injury issue. Of course, certainly cramping could be a problem for any of these players today, if not properly hydrated in this extreme heat. But Lewis has been an integral piece of this team so far this season. It's been the most productive hitter in the lineup. So hopefully no injury issues there. It's an 0-2 count, meanwhile, to Cam Rivendiera. The pitch from LaPierre is hit softly over to first base. It's boxed around there for Burchard. Now can't get his footing. Eventually ranged his way over to the bag in time to get the out. It was not pretty, but in the end, Burchard able to get an out over at the first base bag. First, bobbled that ball around, then almost tripped. And perhaps had eyes on initiating a 3-6-3 double play, but in the end could not get that ball securely in the glove initially, and so he settles for the out at first base. It goes 3 unassisted to retire Rivendiera as Cloutier moves into scoring position at second base with 1 out in the inning, and now Liam Doyle at the plate. Last time through the 5, 6, 7, and 8 spots in the batting order, Anthony LaPierre struck out 4 straight batters. Rivendiera this time able to make contact on that ground out, and now Liam Doyle with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. With Cloutier leading away from second base. A little tapper foul. The count 1 and 2. Lights are on here now at Pheno Field. A little bit of a hazy cloud cover overhead with the sun setting off in the distance. Sunset time right around 8:24. So still some daylight remaining here. Again, these are our longest days of the year. Beautiful place to spend these long days of the year right here at Pheno. LaPierre taking his time, now ready with a 1-2 pitch, and it's sent foul off toward the concession stand area. That will drop down behind the concession stand. LaPierre up to 55 pitches now in his outing, as he is 1 out deep in the 4th. And that is a beautiful pitch. It drops in for strike 3. And Doyle down by way of the K for the 2nd time. That's the 6th strikeout of the night for LaPierre. And so now here is Cook, who has really done a good job of settling things down on the mound for Cherry Valley. This game easily could have gotten out of hand in that first inning. A 4-run deficit for Cherry Valley right now, but Cook has done well on the mound, including a 1-2-3 third inning. Late on the cut. The count goes to a ball and a strike. Cloutier, who led off this inning with a single, now leads away from second base. Pretty large lead. As this ball is sent foul, might have gotten the chest protector of Keith Lee. Coach DeVito hand delivering the baseball out to the umpire to give Keith Lee a moment or two. He looks to be fine. You can see when he takes that face mask off, wearing the Babson B on his helmet. Beg your pardon, the Brandeis B. It is Anthony LaPierre on the mound, the Babson student, Keith Lee at Brandeis, part of the heavy college contingent of players returning here to the Legion roster this summer. Here's a 2-2 pitch, and that's outside for ball 3. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner leading away from second base. Here's the payoff pitch. It's swung on and missed. 2 more Ks in the inning for LaPierre. He's up to 7 strikeouts now in the outing. And we will move right along to the bottom half of inning number 4. It is 5-1 in favor of Milford Post 59 on top of Cherry Valley. Coverage here on Milford TV is presented by Rail Trail.
Milford Legion Baseball would like to thank its Legion Baseball boosters, Area Glass, Boomer Sargent Funeral Home, Kinzigler Ruggiero Funeral Home, Frank's Appliances, Jean's Variety, Greater Milford Social Club, John Rizzone Electric, Make Power Corporation, Medway Oil, Medway Police Department, Murray Law Office, 99 Restaurant, Paramount Industries, Plains Automotive, Shaw's Supermarket, Ware Village Funeral Home, and the Worcester Red Sox and the Blue Sox Foundation, as well as Honeydew Donuts. Thank you for your generous support of Milford Legion Baseball. We have 2 special events coming up this Wednesday, June 25th. Opening ceremonies will begin at 6:45 and the first pitch at 7. Our Special Olympics friends will be admitted free with 1 companion and will be invited onto the field for opening ceremonies with the team and a chance at a raffle prize. Sweet Inspirations will have a pop-up selling treats, and the proceeds will benefit the Aaron Zenas Foundation. With the score 5-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Coverage of Scarlet Hawks
Second baseman.
Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Our friends over at Rail Trail just unveiling a new outdoor seating area in addition to their patio in the rear of the restaurant. They now have some beautiful patio seating right out on Main Street. And in addition,
13, right fielder,
Rail Trail Flatbread Company with a promotion coming up for folks sticking around during the 4th of July weekend. They'll have a Kids Eat Free special July 5th and 6th. Kids 12 and under will receive a free kids meal with the purchase of an entree. That's a dine-in only promotion happening over with our good friends at the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Dylan Ruff getting hit in the back with a pitch to lead off this bottom half of the 4th inning. He is at first base. And Nick Pedroli at the plate up for the 3rd time. A 1-ball, no strike count on Pedroli, who was 1 for 2 today. Reached on an infield single in the 1st and popped out to the shortstop in the 2nd. Milford leading this game 5-1, scored 4 runs in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd. Now this pitch goes wildly to the backstop, and Ruff is able to advance down into scoring position. Third wild pitch of the night for Cherry Valley pitching. Aiden Cook with a 3-0 pitch, and that is outside for ball 4. So Pedroli reaches for the 2nd time tonight. It's now runners at 1st and 2nd base. And instead of Braden Lewis will see the first at bat of the night for Sean Burchard. First pitch strike. Lewis, as we mentioned, had reached base both times he came to the plate. A walk and a double, 2 runs scored. And now Burchard will get a chance here out of the 2-hole. Big swing and a miss. Puts him down on the count, 0-2. This is the 10th appearance of the season for Sean Burchard. Looking to get it going with the bat, batting .136 on the year, has 3 hits. One of them a double, one of them a home run. It does have 8 runs batted in, so when he has collected hits this season, they have been run producing. Lets that pitch go. And it's a 1-2 count. Cook with the next pitch. It's chopped down the first base line. That's a foul ball. Stays a 1-2 count as Burchard collects the bat. We'll step back in on the left side. Burchard with multiple years of service here in the Milford Legion colors. Takes a pitch outside, working the count back to even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Next one on the way is in the dirt, skips to the backstop, and this will allow both runners to advance. Second wild pitch of the inning for Aiden Cook. And the count full now to Burchard, with Sam Schoenberg lurking on deck. Payoff pitch, up and away for ball 4. And so the bases are loaded up for the number 3 hitter, Schoenberg.
Now batting number 17,
And so quite a contrast here, as Aiden Cook had retired 5 batters in a row, including a 1-2-3 third inning. But an inauspicious start to this inning with the hit by pitch. Now walks to Pedroli and Burchard. And it's bases loaded with nobody out as Schoenberg stands in now on the right side. Swings at the first pitch and sends a deep drive out to center field. Now coming in a few steps is Doyle. He makes the catch. Everyone tagging up as a run scores. Now the throw into third base kicks away, and this will allow Pedroli to cross the plate. And so 2 runs come home on that deep fly ball off the bat of Sam Schoenberg. He'll be credited with a sacrifice fly. He'll get an RBI.
now batting number 20,
As Ruff scored, and then Cherry Valley trying to get that throw into third base with Pedroli tagging. It kicked away. And so that'll end up going as an E8 as the center fielder's throw into third base kicked away, allowing Pedroli to score. It's the second Cherry Valley error of the game. And so it is now a 7-1 lead for Post 59. And Burchard is now the lone runner at third base. And a no ball, 1 strike count to Keith Lee. And sends a hard shot down the third base line, foul. Keith drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the second inning. And so again, Milford now with 7 runs scored here in the 4th inning, and they still only have 2 hits. This ball sent high in the air. The second baseman tracking that ball out onto the shallow right field grass to make the catch.
Now batting number 3, third baseman, Sean.
No advance from Burchard. He remains at third base with now 2 down. And Sean McGee coming to the plate. It's been sort of a strange offensive night for Milford. A lot of traffic on the bases, 7 runs scored, but only 2 hits. It's been walks that have been Cherry Valley's undoing. The starting pitcher, Nolan Libby, with 4 walks. Aiden Cook now has walked 3 batters. And also has a hit batsman. It's a 2-ball, no strike count on McGee. The only hits that Milford has had tonight were the infield single for Pedroli in the first and the double for Braden Lewis in the second. 3-0 pitch on the way, and that is up around the eyes for ball 4. So yet another walk.
Now batting number 6, center fielder, Nick Cole.
So that's 8 walks in total now for Cherry Valley pitching. It places runners at the corners for Nick Koch. Runner immediately takes off from first base, and Cloutier will not even attempt to make a throw. So 2 in scoring position with 2 away, and a 1-ball, no strike count on Koch, who was hit by a pitch in the first and grounded out in the third. Pitch from Cook is off the outside edge. And the 3-0 now is again off the outside edge. And Cook losing the strike zone here in this 4th inning.
16, the designated hitter, Gavin
He's walked
Metcalf.
4 batters now in the inning. And so now Milford will have the bases loaded for Gavin Metcalf. Takes the first pitch down and in for ball 1. Metcalf, a walk in the first, a ground out in the third. And now this pitch goes to the backstop. Metcalf held a stop sign up on Burchard, who had started down the line at third base, but he retreats back to the bag. So no harm done on that wild pitch. But it's a 2-ball, no strike count on Metcalf. And that pitch way up high. Metcalf and, I beg your pardon, Nick Ovea and Dylan Ruff, the only batters in the Milford original starting lineup that do not have a walk to their credit. This pitch is going to be ball 4. It skips away from the catcher, but it doesn't matter, as Sean Burchard will trot across home plate with the 8th Milford run of the game. The 5th walk allowed by Aiden Cook in this inning. This one forcing in a run to make it now an 8-1 lead, and Coach Stevens back out of the dugout. Bases reloaded with now McGee at third, Coke at second, and Metcalf at first. And looks like Coach Stevens may be calling in one of his outfielders to take over on the pitcher's mound, but it looks like we will indeed have a pitching change here. So we'll take a quick timeout on the broadcast. Milford has the bases loaded here in the bottom of the fourth inning, now leading 8-1. Looking to break this game wide open. We'll see if they do it when we come back. After this, coverage coming to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company.
Now pitching for Cherry Valley, number 9, Liam Doyle. After Wednesday's Special Olympics night, on Thursday we will be having a Veterans Night. It's the Milford versus Northborough game. Opening ceremonies will begin at 6:45. We invite all veterans to join us on the field for opening ceremony. Please come and support our veterans.
This Milford lineup is not one that you can allow to have free traffic on the bases, and that is exactly what Cherry Valley has been doing in this game. We've talked about it a couple of times. Milford only has 2 hits in this game, and that is all they have needed, as Cherry Valley has been willing to supply a lot of the base runners. Starting pitcher Nolan Libby lasted just a third of an inning, allowed 4 runs on 1 hit, walked 4 batters. Aiden Cook, who at times looked good in this game but really lost his command in this 4th inning. He ended up pitching 3 1/3 innings, allowed just 1 hit, but ended up allowing 3 runs, and that was in large part due to 6 walks, 5 of which came in this 4th inning. Finally forcing him out of the game, and the 3rd pitcher of the day now for Cherry Valley is Liam Doyle. He comes in from center field to take over on the mound. I believe it was a straight position swap with Aiden Cook going out into center field defensively. And meanwhile, a bases loaded opportunity for Nick Govea. Takes the first pitch strike from Doyle. And now a swing and a miss. And the count quickly goes to 0-2. It is Sean McGee, the lead runner at 3rd, with Nick Koch at 2nd and Gavin Metcalf at 1st. And Doyle ready with an 0-2 pitch. It is popped up in foul ground, and that makes its way over the first base dugout and out of play. Govea drove in a run with a sac fly in the 1st, flew out in the 3rd. And fights this pitch off to stay alive.
get up with the dimensional properly. So from there,
small contingent of fans in the stands here behind home plate. Most of the fans down in the concession area. Here's another 0-2 pitch, and that is off the plate. Last bits of daylight fading off in the distance. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count now to the right-handed batter. The pitch, that is down and away. Good take for Govea. Count even now at 2-2. Milford runners leading away from each base. Doyle to the set. And the pitch is hit down the right field side. That's a foul ball, and that will drift over the lawn chairs lining that right field side. Govea ready to see another pitch. Here it comes. Tries to hold up on the swing, but he goes around. That's the first strikeout for Cherry Valley pitching tonight, and it comes at a good time as Milford will strand the bases loaded. They do get 2 more runs in this inning, again, thanks to all of the walks. And so we will move on to inning number 5. It is now Milford 8 and Cherry Valley 1 here on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on Milford TV. It's presented by Rail Trail.
Fifth inning, leading off for Cherry Valley, number 12, Jameson Wood.
Anthony LaPierre returns to the pitcher's mound for his 5th inning of work, as his team leads this game by a score of 8-1. LaPierre now 64 pitches in his outing. And the pitch misses up top as Cherry Valley brings the 8, 9, and 1 batters to the plate in this top half of the 5th inning. Jameson Wood leading things off. He's ahead in the count here, 3 balls and no strikes. Taking all the way, takes that pitch for a strike. And now geared up for a fastball, could not catch up to it, and the count runs full. Wood struck out looking his first time up against LaPierre. Again, was not initially in the starting lineup here tonight, but has taken all the at-bats in this number 8 spot as the starting pitcher, Nolan Libby, did not make it out of the top of the first inning. 3-2 pitch, that is going to be low for ball 4. Lee tried to pull it back to the bottom of the strike zone. And so a leadoff walk, that is just the first walk allowed by LaPierre. Certainly a contrast in this game, just 1 walk allowed by the Milford starter. And 10 walks now in total allowed by Cherry Valley pitching. The walks have certainly been the story of this game. Right now, Milford with 8 runs on 2 hits with no errors. Cherry Valley 1 run on 4 hits with 2 errors. So again, Cherry Valley out hitting Milford in this game, but Milford leading comfortably up by 7. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count now on Joe Castigian out of the number 9 spot. Joe 1 for 1 today. Helped spark a little mini rally for Cherry Valley in the 3rd inning when they scored their run. Sent a single down the 3rd base line. That was quickly followed up by an RBI double by Lucas McNevin. One ball and 2 strikes the count, with Wood off to a short lead at first base, held on by Burchard. Here's the pitch, and that is just off the outside part of the plate. Milford coaching staff wanting that to be called strike 3. Instead, it's a 2-2 count. And now the pitch misses low. Pitch count starting to get up there for LaPierre, 73 pitches, without an out recorded yet in this 5th inning. As Castigian cues that pitch foul to the backstop. Three-two pitch, it's hit softly on the ground to second base. The only play will be to first, as Pedroli, I beg your pardon, Dylan Ruff gets the throw over there to retire Castigian. On the play, Wood able to advance to second base.
That brings up number 11, second baseman Lucas McNevin.
So a runner in scoring position for Cherry Valley with 1 down as we go back up to the top spot in the post 443 order. That is Lucas McNevin. Drove in that run with a double his last time up. First pitch on the outside corner for a strike. We'll start to take a look at the District 4 standings as time permits in this inning. You know the team at the top of those standings, that is Milford post 59. As this pitch is sent to the opposite field, sinking quickly, and it is caught out in right field by Nick Pedroli. A head-first dive. That ball did not stay in the air long, but Pedroli got a good jump on it, able to dive forward and keep that ball off the turf. Outstanding play by the Milford right fielder. Lost the cap, but kept the baseball. And there are 2 outs now in this 5th inning. Braden Biendo 0 for 2 on the day. He takes a look at strike 1. So Milford with an unbeaten record in Zone 4 competition. They are 8-0. Shrewsbury in second place in those standings. They are 4-1. Their lone loss coming to Milford. And then Leominster post 151 in 3rd place in the standings, They are 5-2 as Biendo sends a chopper over towards first base. Burchard makes the play unassisted, so we'll give you more of those Zone 4 standings when we move on to the top of the fifth inning. That will come your way next. It is an 8-1 lead for Milford on top of Cherry Valley here on Milford TV.
Please take out your blue split the pot raffle tickets.
Oh my God.
The winning number is 377562. Repeating, 377562. Please go to the concession stand to collect your winnings. And thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball. Milford Legion Baseball would like to thank its Legion Baseball supporters: Beyond Default, Big Y, the Boston Red Sox, Craft Roots Brewing, Fisk's General Store, 110 Grill, Milford Free Press, Muffin House in Mendon, Trader Joe's, Basic Batch Donuts, and also Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball.
Coming down.
Milford leading by a score of 8-1 in the bottom of the fifth inning. Leading off, number 11, second baseman Dylan Ruff.
9-1 and 2 hitters coming up for post 59 now into the bottom of the fifth inning. Milford once again with a comfortable lead of 8-1. Dylan Ruff to lead things off against Liam Doyle. Inherited a bases loaded 2-out jam in the bottom of the fourth inning, but was able to strike out Nick Govea to get out of it. And now the count 1-1 to Dylan Ruff. So we gave you the top three in the zone standings: Milford, Shrewsbury, and Leominster in that order. Then comes Northborough post 234. They're 4-3 on the season. Followed by Maine South. They're at 300. They're at 500 now at 3-3. As Ruff sends this ball to the opposite field, that's going to drop in for a base hit. So there is a rare hit in this game for post 59, just their third. They get the leadoff man on in this bottom of the fifth inning. And once again, we'll go back up to the top spot in the order, Nick Pedroli, who's been on base twice tonight. Maine South in fifth place in the zone, then followed by Hudson in sixth. They are 3-5, so under 500, a surprise for a Hudson team that's given Milford fits since they made the move into District 4 a couple of seasons ago. In seventh place comes Northbridge at 3-5. Grafton is also 3-5 on the season. In ninth place is Framingham. They are 2-4. North County at 2-6, and then this Cherry Valley team at 1-4. As now this ball is driven in the air out to right field. It drops in for a hit and then kicks away from Castigian. Ruff keeps on moving all the way to third base as Pedroli will stop at second. And And so that will go as a single for Pedroli. He takes second base on the E9. That is the third miscue of the game now for Cherry Valley. And so Milford has runners at second and third. Nobody out in the inning. And now Sean Burchard making his second appearance at the plate since coming into this game. And he takes a first pitch strike. Beautiful sky behind Fino Field as the sun continues to set with the hazy sky, some pink and blue hues. Just a beautiful summer night here in Milford. Here's an 0-1 pitch, and Burchard able to hold up on the swing. One ball, one strike, nobody out, and two in scoring position. Next one from Doyle is lifted in the air out to left field towards the line, and that drifts foul and out of play. One ball and two strikes on the left-handed swinging Sean Burchard. Pitch that slices down and in. A lot of movement on that pitch from Doyle. The third arm utilized by Coach Stevens and Cherry Valley tonight. He's ready to deliver a 2-2 pitch. And it's hit hard back up the middle. Rangy play for the second baseman. Able to get to his feet and fire to first base to get the out. Nicely done by Lucas McNevin. That looked like it was ticketed for center field, but he got a nice jump on that ball, was able to stab it, quickly get back to his feet, and fire accurately to first base. Very good play. Had to release that throw flat-footed and still got plenty on it. Very good play for the Cherry Valley second baseman. A run does score, so it is now 9-1. With one out and a runner at third base, as now Sam Schoenberg sends a ground ball through the left side of the infield. This will allow Nick Pedroli to score. And Milford now once again in double digits on the scoreboard. They are up 10-1.
Now batting number 20, Keith Lee.
So an RBI for Burchard on the ground out, an RBI for Sam Schoenberg on the single. He's now driven in 2 runs in this game. So the RBI total for Sam Schoenberg now up to 17. Keith Lee at the plate with the lone runner at first base. Right now the scoreboard here at Fino showing it as 10-2, but it is a 10-1 post 59 lead. I'm not sure where that rogue second run came from on the Cherry Valley side of the scoreboard, as this pitch kicks away from Andrew Cloutier. And so now the scoreboard back up to date. It is indeed a 10-1 lead for Milford, with Sam Schoenberg now in scoring position at second base after the wild pitch for Doyle. Keith Lee has an RBI on a sac fly in this game. And the 3-0 pitch is up and away. And Keith Lee works a walk for the second time tonight. It's the first walk allowed by Liam Doyle, but it is the 11th walk in total for Cherry Valley pitching. Runners at first and second base now for Sean McGee. He has been on base twice without the benefit of a hit. Here comes the 0-1, and it's popped up. Stays on the infield. Pitcher taking charge. Liam Doyle able to make the catch. And McGee is retired. The runners stay put at first and second base. And now here is Nick Koch. Holds up on the swing, but takes a strike. Koch was hit by a pitch in the first inning. He grounded out to second base in the third and then walked in the fourth. The pitch is hit in the air out towards right center field. It is Cook who settles underneath to make the catch for the out that retires the side. And so we will play on to a sixth inning here at Pheno Field, with Milford now leading Cherry Valley by a score of 10-1. On this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV, it's presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Starting pitcher Anthony LaPierre returns for the sixth inning, 79 pitches deep in his outing, with his team leading 10-1. He'll face Jacob Del Valle to lead off this sixth inning, be followed by Andrew Cloutier and Cam Rivendiera. Longest outing of this Legion season so far for Anthony LaPierre. Now deals a strike to bring the count to 2-1. Del Valle doubled in the first inning and then popped out to right field in the third. And takes a pitch over his head for ball 3. Milford has now pulled ahead of Cherry Valley in the hit column, 5-4. Milford 10 runs on 5 hits, no errors. Cherry Valley 1 run, 4 hits, 3 errors. And this ball popped foul out of play off to the right. So a full count now on Del Valle. As this pitch is hit hard down the left field line. Giving chase is Govea, but that is out of play. And we'll do it again. 85 pitches now for LaPierre. Right now, no activity out in the Milford bullpen. Another payoff pitch, and it's swung on and missed. Del Valle could not catch up. And so that is strikeout number 8 for LaPierre. Retires the first batter here in the 6th. And so now here is Cloutier. Lined out to right field in the first inning, singled to lead off the 4th. And LaPierre has uncorked a couple in this inning, emptying the tank at the end of his outing. Comes back with a strike to even the count. And now gets a swing and a miss. Next pitch will be number 90 for LaPierre. Takes a deep breath. Winds and delivers, and it's swung on and missed. Back-to-back Ks now for Anthony. 9 strikeouts in all. And the bases are empty with 2 down now in this top of the 6th, leaving it up to Rivendiera, who has gone 0 for 2 so far tonight with a strikeout and a ground out. LaPierre's pitch off the outside part of the plate. Milford with home games scheduled on Wednesday and Thursday of this week against Northbridge and North County, Northbridge and Northborough, respectively. As this ball is hit on the ground, nice stab for Sean McGee, and sends the throw right on the money to first base to get the out that ends the inning. 1-2-3 goes Cherry Valley in the top of the 6th. So on to the home half of the inning we go. Still all Milford, 10-1 on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on Milford TV. It's brought to you by Rail Trail.
Milford, Central Mass Ball Club, Homefield Credit Union, and Rail Trail Flatbread, as well as our platinum partners, Imperial Cars, Pepperoncinis, Shooting Star Photography, Wiley and Julian Oil Services, and the Milford Lions Club. Our gold partners are Blooming Hearts, Roastery Cafe, Boucher Energy System, Butters House, Clark, Consigli Imbricado PC, Milford Federal Bank, Milford Permanent Firefighters, RH Lawn Cadillac, Stulac Marketing, and the gym. Thank you for supporting Milford Legion Baseball. Pitching for Cherry Valley, number 7, Braden Biondo.
Ten to 1, Milford leading Cherry Valley. Post 443 will utilize another pitcher in this inning. It's Braden Biendo. So he comes in from the outfield.
With Milford leading by a score of 10 to 1 in the bottom of the 6th inning.
And so it looks like now Cook will move from center to left, with Liam Doyle returning to his original position in center field. And Biendo now taking over as the 4th pitcher. So a third of an inning from Nolan Libby, 3 1/3 from Aiden Cook, an inning and a third from Liam Doyle. And now it is Biendo who will face the bottom third of the Milford order, starting with Gavin Metcalf. Metcalf has walked twice in this game. One of those was with the bases loaded to force in a run. If you like walks, you've liked this game. If you like runs scoring from other means than hits, you've liked this game. It's been sort of strange scoring, as this ball was hit sharply foul down the third base line and picked barehanded by Milford head coach Steve DeVito. Still sure-handed as ever. And again, this one over in the direction of Coach DeVito. This is now the 11th season at the helm of this post-59 program for Steve DeVito. He took over for Brian Mackey in 2014. Took the team on that magical run to the Northeast Regionals and just a few agonizing outs away from the Legion World Series. Has taken this team to state tournament competition multiple times and has assembled quite a force on this roster for 2025 as Metcalf stings this ball out into right field. It's down for a hit. So that's now the 7th hit of the game for Milford. So the hits have come here in the later innings. They had 3 last inning, and now Metcalf leading off the 6th with a base hit. And now Nick Govea takes a pitch in the dirt, skips away from the catcher, and Metcalf races down to second base, takes a big turn, but he will stay there. So Metcalf in scoring position. If that run comes around to score, we'll see the game come to an end right here. There's a 1-0 pitch. That's out. That's on the outside corner, I should say, for a strike. Again, we hope to be back with you on Thursday for coverage of Milford's game against Northborough. That is weather permitting. As this pitch skips low for ball 2. That ball foul tipped. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Govea. Has an RBI in this game. Came back in the first inning. Now takes a close pitch for ball 3. So the count is full. Still a lot of chatter coming out of the Milford dugout. Payoff pitch from Biendo. That is down and in for ball 4. Ball rolls away to the backstop, and so that allows Metcalf to move to third. So the first two have reached for Milford in this 6th inning. Metcalf now at third with Govea at first. And Dylan Ruff now comes to the plate. Ruff has been on base twice tonight on a hit by pitch and a single. Both times he's been on base, he has scored. Here he sends this ball deep out to center field. Doyle settles underneath to make the catch. Metcalf tags at third base and will come home with the 11th and final run of the game for post 59. Another sacrifice fly in this game, this time for Dylan Ruff, and that will establish a 10-run lead and give us a mercy rule victory for post 59 here tonight. In 6 innings, Milford able to defeat Cherry Valley by a final score of 11-1. So again, not a lot of hits needed for Milford in this game. A lot of those runs self-inflicted with just too many walks for this Cherry Valley pitching staff tonight, but Milford will take it. They cruise along to their 11th victory overall on the season, their 9th victory in District 4 competition, so now 9-0 in their league standings, 11-1 overall on the season. So this impressive year continues for post 59. With the loss, Cherry Valley will dip to 1-5 on the season. So again, games coming up here at home for Milford later this week, on Wednesday against Northbridge and on Thursday against Northborough. And if the weather holds up, we look to bring you the coverage live on Thursday for that game against Northborough. And so we hope you will join us for that coverage. Should we have to make any changes due to the weather, we'll certainly get that out there on our social media. But that's going to wrap things up here tonight. A big thank you to our Milford TV crew bringing you this coverage here tonight. And I am Tim Coette. That final score one final time, 11-1. Milford defeats Cherry Valley. This has been a presentation of Milford Legion Baseball here on Milford TV. It's been presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. So long, everybody.